Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. Good morning, party people. This morning's Throwback Thursday video is going to feature a concept, I guess you might want to call it, that really is similar to nature's twist on the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot. Some automotive groups call it the Lawnmower Syndrome. Let's get started. The Lawnmower Syndrome is a process in where you can't get your car started. You have a car that you've been driving every day. You jump in it one day and you turn the key, it cranks, you let go the key and realize, hey, my car didn't start. What's going on here? So you turn the key again. You hold it for a few more seconds, let it go, didn't start again. Man, this is odd because you were driving this car daily. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of engines in today's automotive environment are made with very tight tolerances. Another thing you might want to know is your cylinder walls in your engine are lubricated with a little bit of oil, so they're not dry. Helps the car maintain and build compression. And what likely has happened is you started the car, moved it, or let it run for just a few seconds and you shut it off, and you didn't give that engine enough time to heat up those cylinder walls or burn off all the fuel that was put in those cylinders during a cold start. People call it the Lawnmower Syndrome because it sometimes happens to people that start their car and let it run long enough to move the car out of the garage or wherever they have it parked in order to get their lawnmower out so they can do their yard. The car's cold, hadn't been running. They jump in the car, they fire it up, they back up, 10, 20, 30 feet. They shut the car off. Now the car might have been running 10, 15, 20 seconds. And when a car is cold, it puts more fuel in the cylinders than is normal. And when you shut it off, before all that fuel is burnt off, it can wash down the oil layer that is in the cylinder walls. If that oil has been washed off the cylinder walls, next time you go to start the car, it'll have low compression. If you turn the key and hold it until a car starts, you'll be fine. But oftentimes people turn the key because they're used to it starting in 1 second or 2 seconds or 3. They just bump the key and let the key go, and the car quits cranking and it's not running. So that kind of gets their attention. This time they hold the key, they only hold it for a couple seconds, maybe 5 seconds. Each time they do that, they're dumping more fuel in the cylinders, and those cylinder walls are washing down even more. And now you have a situation where you went from low compression probably to no compression. So long story short, to get that car running again, it's got to build compression back up, because your car needs 5 things to run if it's a gasoline operated car. You need fuel, air, compression, timing, and spark. If any of those 5 things are missing, it won't run. And if you've experienced this lawnmower syndrome, now you don't have compression, or compression is too low for the car to start and run. So you got to fix that. The quickest way to fix it is to pull all of the spark plugs. When you pull the plugs, there'll likely be fuel on the end of the plugs that resembles oil. I get common people saying, man, I got a lot of oil on the end of my plugs. Well, that's not oil, that's unburnt fuel. Anyway, you pull the plugs, you let those cylinders air out, maybe 30 minutes, dry up that fuel, and or you pour a little oil down in the cylinders, maybe an ounce, shot glass full. If you don't know what that is, if you got an oil bottle, small oil bottle, you put a cap full of oil down each cylinder, and then you crank the car for 5 or 10 seconds with the plugs out. This will lubricate the cylinder walls again. Then you put the spark plugs back in or put new spark plugs in. I've seen the spark plugs fouled out so bad that I had to hit them with a wire brush before I put them in. Put everything back together, and you got to remember this car didn't have compression, and you got to make sure it has compression. That oil will help, but it may not done the full trick. So when you go to start the car, this time you turn the key and you hold it until the car starts. Now, when the car starts, it may take 20, 30, 40 seconds, but you got to feather the accelerator pedal and make sure the car doesn't stall, or you may fall back into the lawnmower syndrome. So you feather the gas pedal, keep the car running for at least a minute. Try to keep the RPM between 2,000 and 3,000. Once it's been run for a minute, you can slowly let the accelerator pedal go, and the car should be good to go. It'll run fine. Now, if for some reason it doesn't start, you want to crank the car until it does. When you're holding that key, running that starter, it will start after a while. It may take a minute, it may take 2. Of course, you're going to need a strong battery. So if you've been trying to get the car started for days, weeks, months, unfortunately, I've heard of people trying to get their car started for 18 months, your battery may not be strong enough to crank for a minute or 2. So you're going to have to make sure the battery's charged, or you have a fresh battery. And then crank that car, and if it doesn't start the first try or the second try, the third try, what you're going to need to do is turn the car totally off. Put your foot to the floor. That cuts fuel off, and it only has full air. You start cranking that car, and man, crank that thing until it starts. Once it starts, don't let it die. Keep that thing going and going and going for at least, like I said, a minute or 2, until you can remove your foot from the accelerator pedal. Let that thing run 5-10 minutes, and you'll be good to go. You won't have a problem no more, unless you start that car and move it or shut it off within a minute. On my cars, because these cars are prone to it, Volvo 850s, whenever I start one of these cars, I do not cut it off unless it is run at least a minute. And that minute is burned off any unburnt fuel, it's built compression, the cylinder walls are lubricated, and I don't fall into that syndrome. But if you start the car, 2-3 seconds later, you realize you forgot something, you shut it off, you're putting yourself at risk for falling into this situation where you have no compression. Now, if you've been trying to get your car started a long time, you verified you got fuel, you verified you got spark, you verified you got timing, you probably are missing air or compression. And if the car was running every day before this happened, like I said, it's probably low on compression. You can do a compression test to check what compression is. You probably need 90 psi for a car to start and run. Anything less than that, you're probably not going to get the car started until that thing builds compression. And again, you could build compression by long cranks or by adding a little oil to the cylinders. Now, if you put a little oil in the cylinders, once that car starts, it'll smoke a little bit, because that oil will be going down into the exhaust and burning off in the exhaust. It might smoke 30 seconds. After that, you'll be good to go. Don't put too much oil in there, but like I said, about an ounce should do it. Maybe a half ounce, maybe enough. At any rate, you just want to put a little bit of oil in there to lubricate those cylinder walls. Make sure you got good spark plugs. Drop that thing in there and crank it till it starts. The reason I say if it doesn't start the second time, the third attempt, you put your foot all the way down to the floor on the pedal, is when you do that before you crank the car, it cuts off fuel. Now, if you already tried to start it twice, there's enough fuel in those cylinders to start that car. If you do it 3, 4, 5 times without putting your foot to the gas pedal all the way to the floor to cut off fuel, you're just washing down those cylinder walls again. Now, there's a couple ways that you know that you probably have this lawnmower syndrome. Now, I've seen them happen to Volvos, to Jaguars, and it's happened to a few other cars. It probably is possible to happen to all cars, but I know it happens to these Volvo 850 5-cylinder cars. A couple of symptoms is you jumped in the car, it didn't start for some reason like it used to, and it was a car that was being driven every day. Symptom number one. Symptom number two, you verified that you have fuel, air, timing, and spark, just didn't verify compression. Number three, when you crank the car, if you have a good battery, the car engine turns over or cranks really fast. Turning over and cranking is the same thing. So if the car is cranking real fast, sounds like it's trying to start because it's cranking and it's not starting, it's probably low compression. Here's an example of what that sounds like. A car having 0 to no compression, cranking really fast and not starting. Last but not least, you can pull the oil dipstick, smell the oil on the end of the dipstick, and the oil will smell like fuel. So those are the symptoms to know. And I decided to do this as a throwback Thursday video because my original video on this is so, I would say, poorly put together that people may doubt that I know what I'm talking about. You know, just believe it. I get messages oftentimes with people having this situation, and sometimes they call me. If they call me, we can handle it better. If they send me a message, text message, email, something like that, I just normally fire back that video, and if they follow the video, they recover, move on with life. If they don't believe it because the way the video was produced, it was unbelievable, then they continue to suffer with their car not starting. And hey, I just decided, make this a throwback Thursday video, clean it up. Hopefully it'll be more convincing and people will follow the procedures and get their car running. I have dozens of videos where I have helped cars recover from the lawnmower syndrome, and a couple of videos where I thought it was the lawnmower syndrome, but it wasn't. It was a busted timing belt. When I verified that the cams wasn't turning, I knew the timing belt was busted and just shut it down from there. But I have gotten many Volvos started with this, and man, you know, it takes about 5-10 minutes to recover from this. You don't have to do the spark plug thing, but if you want to make it easier to fire that car up, you can. If you got a good strong battery, you could just put your foot to the floor, crank it 2 or 3 minutes, and it'll probably fire up. Then you got to struggle to keep it running, and if it dies, you're going to have to go through a long crank process again. But if you've been dealing with it for a while, the cylinder walls are probably washed down so much and the compression is probably so low that you're just better off pulling those plugs, putting new plugs in, or cleaning up the plugs you got, putting a little oil down the cylinders, and it'll be easier for that thing to start and build compression. So again, a lot of mechanics have never seen this, never helped somebody recover from this. So in essence, it's like somebody seeing Bigfoot. But here we are. We've had a few people figure out what was going wrong because they had low compression. They just added some oil to the cylinder walls, put in fresh spark plugs, and it started relatively easy. But for those people that don't understand that, hey, you can lose compression like that, they may not have ever experienced it, and it's like experiencing Bigfoot in the wilderness. And that's something that people call a myth. Call it a myth if you like, but if you're affected by it, you're the one with your car not running. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope if you've experienced this, you get your car running. And hey, have a great day. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I trust that you found some information that was either useful or entertaining. So go ahead and hit the like button. And if you would like notification of future videos that I post, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. You can follow me on other social media apps by looking for @RobertDIY. Some form of that should bring up the other channels that I have on places like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. If for some reason you need some more personal help, go to my website at robertdiy.com and use the phone number that I have posted there to send me a text message, or you can email me. If you have questions or comments, please make a comment below. And if you'd like to make some kind of financial contribution to what I got going on here, go to my channel and hit the More link at the end of the introduction statement, and it'll show you different ways that you can support me financially. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.